Perfect. All right, good evening, everyone. I will call the January 26, 2026 meeting of the Newtown Township Board of Supervisors to order. I will note that the board did meet in executive session at 6 p.m. where we discussed the following matters. With regards to litigation, we discussed a tax refund case, and then we also discussed an enforcement action related to a broken sidewalk pad. In terms of personnel matters, we discussed the public works winter schedule as well as storm staffing. With that being said, Mr. Neese, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Altieri.
Here.
Mr. San Francesco.
Here.
Ms. Chanlis.
Here.
Mr. Russo.
Here.
Ms. Grasso.
Here.
Your engineer, solicitor, and manager are here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neese. We'll now move down to section 5, which is the moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. With regard to the moment of silence, we ask that we all remember the families that were affected in the vehicular accident, which took place on Friday, January 23rd on South Newtown Street Road here in Newtown Township. And we'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get down to item 6, the agenda, I will note just for section 13, 13.1, as well as section 14, 14.1, the subdivision of 4514 Florida Avenue has been pulled from this agenda and will take place in the February 23rd meeting. So if you are attending virtually or here in the audience for that, please note that that agenda item has been pulled from the agenda and will be heard on February 23rd. With that being said, we'll now move to 6.1, which is the motion to approve the agenda as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor San Francesco, seconded by Supervisor Grasso. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move down to section 7, public comment for agenda items only. If there's any members of the public who have any public comment to provide to an agenda item, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. And if you're virtual and you have an agenda item public comment, please just raise your hand. I'll just do one last call. If there's anyone virtually, please just raise your hand if you wish to provide any public comment for an agenda item related matter. All right, let the record reflect we asked twice and there is no public comment. We'll now move down to section 8, 8.1. I actually am going to make a motion if we can table this, the approval of the minutes for January 5th, 2026, just because I've not yet had a chance to go through them. And I think that there were some things that needed to be cleaned up on that. So I'll just make that motion to table that. There's a second.
Second.
Is there any board discussion? So the motion was made by the chair, seconded by Supervisor San Francesco. Any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Section 9, section 9 is reports. I actually failed to say something at the beginning, and I apologize. At the beginning of this, I do want to thank, on behalf of the board, the Public Works team for what they did in this storm, starting Saturday, night, I guess, into Sunday and then Monday. I think that our team was out there for 25, almost 30 hours. I have heard from multiple people that our roads are in great shape compared to other surrounding municipalities. And so I just think it's extremely important, Steve, that you relay to George and to everyone on the Public Works team our appreciation. And then we should also acknowledge the fact that you yourself were also on the road during that storm. And even today, before this meeting got started, we're out there salting the driveway. And I even had a comment from a resident, which I gave to you, and you jumped in a truck and actually took care of it with regards to the plow. So thank you to, really to George and his team and for you guys for maintaining everything, as well as to Dr. Jean Bale, our Director of Emergency Management, who set up shop at the fire company. She was there all day. I was in touch with her multiple times throughout the day, and just want to thank her and Joe for everything that they did with regards to the storm as well.
Yeah, our team, they're smart with how they approach the storm, and they work real hard at it. So I appreciate those comments, and I'll let them know.
Please do. 9.1 is reports, 9 is reports. 9.1, report from the police department. Chief Lunn, do you have anything to supplement to your report?
There's nothing to add.
Thank you very much, sir. 9.2, report from the, and is there any comment from the board on that? Anyone? 9.2, report from the fire department. Chief Young, do you have anything to supplement to your
I
report?
just got a text from Chief Young. He's at a fire. So he is not online. So he's doing what he's supposed to be doing right at the moment.
Perfect. Any comments from the board? Not, good.
I just would like to make a comment. I saw the 2025 year review. And just to highlight that the volunteer hours contributed to 22,640 hours, which equates to an estimated $577,313 in savings to the community. So that number really underscores how much the township relies on and benefits from all of our volunteer services. And just to echo the call for residents who might be interested in volunteering, there are many ways to serve. This was in the report, from firefighting to junior firefighters to fire police, administrative house members, auxiliary roles. So we really encourage anybody that might want to contribute to please get in touch with the fire company.
Any other comments from the board? Any other comments from the board? All right, 9.3, I don't believe George is on.
I asked George not to join us tonight.
Perfect.
I told him to get sleep.
Any questions from the board? 9.4, report from the codes department. Director Reczek, anything to supplement to your report?
Andy's having trouble getting on. I just had a text from him.
All right, well, we'll circle back, and when he jumps on, just let me know, and we can
Okay.
ask if there's any questions from the board at that time. 9.5, report from the finance department. Director Barbine, anything to supplement to your report?
He's on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
There you go. Nothing to add.
Thank you. Any questions for Tom? 9.6, report from the library. Director Caruso, anything to supplement?
Nothing to add.
Any questions from the board?
Just to highlight how strong our circulation numbers were. So that was good to see.
Any other comments from the board? 9.7, report from Parks and Rec. Mr. Pollock, anything to add to your report? I don't think he's on here.
Don't see him on.
Any questions from the board? 9.8, report from the leisure services. Mr. Enhow, anything to supplement?
Nothing to add, thank you.
Any questions from the board? 9.9, Mr. Johnson.
Good evening. I'll just highlight one item. At your last meeting, you had awarded the Greer Park redevelopment contract. Since then, the contracts have been executed and the contractor is now in the process. We're going to start submittals. The township has scheduled a meeting with the abutting residents to review the project ahead of construction sometime in about a month.
And Eric, just to be clear on that, just so if there's any members of the public who are listening to this is not a rehash of what was already approved. We're doing essentially a pre-con meeting with those residents that abut to the park so they can understand, when they start seeing machinery rolling in and work being done, what it is that we're doing, and sort of the explanation of the phase there.
Correct. It is, the project is established. We will have representative of myself as well as the township and the contractor there. Just to answer the logistical questions about what is the scope of work being done and how they're going to go about doing that work.
Awesome. Is that all you wanted to highlight? Because I have a question
That
for
is,
you.
yes.
Bishop Hollow Road, the sidewalk. I know that I believe that, and I think you mentioned it, well, I know you mentioned in your report that we submitted our HOP to PennDOT. PennDOT came back with their normal comments. You guys, I guess, then followed up with that. Where are we with regard to that?
Yeah, so we had gone through our submissions with PennDOT. We came down to, it was really one technical issue had to do with a section of sidewalk where currently there's a missing gap. So we had a meeting with them to try and see if we could work through some of their technical questions, which had to do with some concerns about water along the curb line. We have, based off of that, we are going into resubmit. So hopefully that is the last bit of technical information with PennDOT. And then beyond that is establishing agreements.
Yeah, that's actually a good point because I forgot. It's essentially 3 different projects, right? So we're going to be running the sidewalk from Field 1 down to Stony Brook. That missing section that's by Facenda's photography, essentially, right?
Right.
Like going closer to Western Pike. And then are we also in the same project running up on the opposite side up to the Petticoat League? Is that what we're planning to
Correct.
do
This
there?
project goes all the way from the Petticoat League to the stoplight intersection, comes across and then goes all the way along the Little League field, connecting all the way into the sidewalk here at the Township Building. And then also filling in some missing sections further up the road, as well as some work being done around the municipal complex itself.
So where are we with, and I'm guessing that work from the Petticoat League side is going to be within the right of way?
It is largely in the right of way. There is some easements related to grading that is required, but the sidewalk itself is,
And where are we with the easements?
it is along the.
No, I'm sorry. Like, where are we? Do we have the easements? Are they executed? Like, basically what I'm, the long and short of where I'm getting at is when are we putting shovels in the ground is really the long and short of that. Do we have do you have an idea of that?
Well, we need to obtain, I mean, we will be through with PennDOT, I hope, in the next month or so. Once we have the easements in place, I think we have to kind of get that.
Yeah, so there's two issues. One is the easement. We've also applied for a grant specifically for the section from
Petticoat League.
to the Petticoat League. And I don't think we've heard back on the results of that grant yet.
Right.
But we're using the one grant to finish the piece. So we're doing an extension on that grant that I'm gonna have you sign a letter for. And then we have to have, so we're kind of have all these pieces that we're waiting on that one, a couple little pieces to make it final that we can do it.
Yeah.
If nothing else, we'll have to do it in two phases.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep from doing that because we think it'll be cheaper to do it as one.
No, makes sense. All right, just keep us posted on that because one big thing that we are going to need to take into consideration from a logistics perspective is the when we start doing it by nil, right? Like what's the best time to do that because of them having their seasons? You know, are we going to be taking up space where people park, stuff like that? It's just, that can be a nightmare.
Well, most of it would be out towards the road edge where hopefully they're not parking.
Well, if you've seen, I know you've seen the tournaments,
Yeah.
you know.
No, but they're not normally right there. Like
Yeah.
we would, like, it would be, it might have a slight impact. You might lose one or two
Yeah.
parking places, not many.
Okay. All right. That's all I had for you, Eric, on my side. Anyone from the board? All right, 9.10, report from the township manager, Mr. Neese.
Yeah, the one thing that I was gonna just again mention that public meeting for the Greer Park is really just to make sure everybody understands what's happening during construction. And so we're gonna do that. The only other thing that I have, just to let everyone know, we are continuing with a strategic plan. That group is meeting. If you've not completed a strategic plan survey, please go to the township website and complete the strategic plan survey. I would really like to see us get back up of well over 1,000 responses for that, because I think that would make a difference.
Let's see if we continue.
That's all I had.
Where are we with regards to responses right now?
I don't know what we were. The last I heard, we were in the low 250s, I think.
Yeah, okay. And where were we 10 years ago or 5 years ago?
1,500.
1,500. Okay. Any questions for the township manager? All right, we're going to jump back up to 9.4 because I believe Director Reczek has just joined. Andy, do you have anything to add to your report?
I have nothing to add. I appreciate you waiting for me.
I appreciate you coming back on. Is there any questions from the board? All right, perfect. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll move down to section 10, which is payments. Ivory, where are we? 10.1. Can I get a motion to approve a refund of $104.50 to O'Donnell Roofing Company? A permit application fee was submitted and paid in the amount of $104.50 for 210 Main Street. However, a permit for a roof replacement without sheathing is not required after being reviewed by the zoning officer.
I move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor San Francisco, seconded by Supervisor Grasso. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. 10.2. Can I get a motion approving the certificate of payment request number 1 totaling $40,831 for Parkland Landscape and Hardscape LLC associated with the Stony Brook Boulevard retaining wall modification project as approved by the township engineer, leaving a retainage balance of $2,149.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Chandler, seconded by Supervisor San Francisco. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Section 11, bills, 11.1. I've reviewed the bills and I'll make a motion to approve the bills on the check register dated January 26, 2026, totaling $519,378.72.
Second.
Motion was made by the chair, seconded by Supervisor San Francisco. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Section 12, new business, 12.1. We get a motion approving the ACH payments for employee HRA account and authorize township manager to sign all required documents.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Chandler, seconded by Supervisor Grosso. Mr. Neese.
Yes, so we have an employee who's over the age of 70, and because of that, they cannot participate in a health savings account like we have for all the other employees. It has to be a HRA, which is a health reimbursement account. The challenge that we have is the company that we have the health reimbursement account will only accept ACH payment and as they reimburse up to that certain amount. So we need to sign those documents and set that up for them in order for them to continue to have the contribution that we give towards the HSA. It would be that amount to the HRA, which is health reimbursement.
Any questions for Mr. Neese? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. 12.2, consider ratifying township state of emergency declaration for snowstorm dated January 24th to the 26th, 2026.
So moved.
There a second?
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Chandler, seconded by Supervisor San Francisco. Mr. Neese.
Yeah, so knowing that the storm was coming in, more concerned mostly that we were going to end up having a fair amount of ice with that storm, the way it just kept changing what we were going to get. We were concerned about having power loss and needing to be able to engage Gene Bale, our emergency management coordinator, for the event. And so that was that piece. The other side of it was if we needed additional salt or we needed additional support, it allowed the township staff to do that. So you have a resolution that was passed back in 2017 that authorizes George, myself, and the chief to issue an emergency declaration if all three of us agree. And that's what happened at that point. That's what we did. I will tell you, the good news is we never needed to. Jean was on, as you mentioned earlier, Leonard, that she was available and she watched throughout the storm and kept track of what was going on. And we didn't end up having to do anything extraordinary. We actually had wanted to hire some folks to help around the township building. We were unable to get anybody on that short notice. And you'll see we have an action item down below that's very similar, but that would be on an ongoing basis.
Yep. The only thing I want to add here is I just want to say, we obviously thanked our Public Works Department for everything that they did, but I also just want to say to Steve, to Chief, to Gene Bale, and to George, and Harry, and everyone else, we are fortunate that we have a team that is always, prepared, right? We are not reactionary. Instead, we are being very proactive in a lot of these situations and these storm events. And having put that emergency declaration out there before the storm began, I think gave us a leg up with regards to, whether it was staffing, whether it was purchasing, but also notifying the residents of the state of emergency so that they can begin making plans to remove their vehicles from the roadway. So I just wanted to say, thank you all for jumping on that. Then also to the residents who adhered to that emergency declaration to remove their vehicles to allow it to go smooth when we're out there, removing the snow. And again, to Dr. Jean Bale for really being on call all of Saturday and into Sunday to ensure that we had everything that we needed. So thank you. Any other board comment?
Just to echo that, Leonard, I feel like the communications were very good. I got a few emails and things like that. So I think it went well. And during the state of emergency, I had the opportunity to do a ride along with Public Works. And that was a really eye-opening experience. I gained a good appreciation for the coordination, skill, and effort that goes into keeping our roads safe during the storm. So they really do a great job with how they manage the challenge, often in difficult conditions. So I appreciate Public Works doing that.
Any other board comment? All right, well, I guess we got to vote on that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, motion carries. 12.3, can I get a motion authorizing township staff to hire temporary staff needed for snow events? Temporary staff will be used only on an as-needed basis to assure timely snow removal on township-owned property.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor Chandler, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Is there any board discussion?
Just
Steve?
that's,
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, that's gonna continue. We're supposed to get more snow on Saturday, so this just,
The idea, so typically what happens is our team is out and they, particularly like an event when it's a large snow event like we had this week, sometimes our team is out for 20
Yeah.
plus hours and they're on, that means they've been on the clock that entire time and they come back in and before they go home, they always have to clean this lot. They have to clear the sidewalks because the building is often open the next morning or that day, depending on what's going on. And so what we're looking for is just some temporary help during snow season to come in and help us do that. And make sure that the sidewalks stay clear, that the parking lot stays passable. The ambulance is in a garage here, so the ambulance responds from here. Our police respond from here. So it's vitally important that our parking lot stays open and the travel lanes stay open throughout the storm. And so that's what we're looking for to try to make sure that our guys, when they come back, they're not having to do all that work at the end when they're tired. And that, and we have some bodies that we can help do that to helps them, but it also helps make sure during the storm that this building stays open to the public, which is our goal.
Any other questions from the board? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Section 13 we pulled, section 14 we pulled. We'll now move down the board comment. One thing I do want to add is I like to highlight these, as the board knows, milestones, special occasions, et cetera, et cetera. One I forgot to do about a month ago was for Desiree to say congratulations to her son who got married. So congratulations to Desiree's son. And then this past Thursday, our very own township manager, Mr. Neese, and his lovely wife, Kim, celebrated 20 years of wedding bliss. So that's the downside. When people call me, I talk to them about everything and anything, you know what I mean? So y'all get it out there. So congratulations to the two of you. Is there any other board comment? We'll move it over to section 16, public comment. For anyone who has any public comment, if you're virtual, please raise your hand and state your name and address for the record. And we'll do it in whatever order we see the hands go up.
Hi there, this is Gabrielle Bruno, Stony Brook Boulevard. For this Thursday's planning meeting, where is it being held?
The planning commission meeting will take place in this room.
Okay, and is there,
Wait a second. I think planning commission was last Thursday.
no, the 10-year strategic meeting? Isn't that,
Oh,
the-
I'm sorry.
well, that's Wednesday.
meeting.
That's when.
That's Wednesday.
That's
It'll be in this
Wednesday.
room.
okay, so
that's
that's
the-
this Wednesday in that same room?
It is. But I want to be clear that this Wednesday's meeting is it's open to the public to come, but it is for the strategic plans,
Steering committee.
say it again.
Steering committee.
Steering committee, that's who's meeting. There was originally a public meeting scheduled for this night, It's been changed just to a steering committee. The public meeting is going to be rescheduled later. I don't have an exact date at this time.
Oh, great. Well, that was so then we'll wait to hear for the public meeting. I assume we went a few years ago and they had like charts and graphs and they try to find out what people want in the community. That's the public meeting, I presume you're just talking.
That's correct. We're still working on, that's why we want everybody filling out the survey, because if you fill out the survey, that gives us the basis for how those charts and graphs get put together, knowing kind of an idea of what people are talking about, and then having a public meeting for people to come in and review what's being said.
Okay, so just to make sure I understand, this Thursday's public meeting has been canceled and postponed, and you'll announce another date in the future for that second public meeting.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else on the virtual audience who wishes to provide any public comment, please just raise your hand. And just state your name and address for the record. Patty, can you hear us?
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you just state your, well,
Sure.
obviously it's Patty Bruno, but your address, please?
Thank you. 116 Stony Brook. And I have a question. What is meant by the steering committee meeting? What does that mean?
So normally, I'll answer this question, but normally public comment is just that, it's just to provide a comment. But what the steering committee is we have the strategic plan and the comp plan are going simultaneously. There is a working group of people. So there's representatives from the Board of Supervisors, there's representatives from the Planning Commission, representatives from the business community. They are the ones who are part of that steering committee that are working with the professionals that we've hired to come up with a plan, taking in consideration of all the feedback that we received from the public. So there's about 19 of us, 20 of us that are part of that steering committee.
Okay, so you guys are going to discuss your different ideas for the plan.
What we're doing is it's more or less, I mean, feel free to jump in on this, but
You're doing a great job.
yeah, it's more or less, it is a check-in with the steering committee, with the professionals that we've hired to see where they are with the next steps of the plan. And then they might have some additional questions for us or additional guidance that they're looking for. So we provide that, but really the crux of the plan and the document itself will be coming from those survey responses that we're pushing people to provide.
Okay, thank you, Leonard. I appreciate that.
No problem. Anyone else on the public, on the virtual audience that has any public comment, just raise your hand. All right. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.